Hello and welcome to my in-depth, unscripted review here of the new Blancpain 50 Fathoms and Swatch collaboration. I got my hands on this little bad boy here at the release date in Copenhagen. Waited 3 hours in line. I think it was worth it. I had good talks with a lot of watch enthusiasts and also a few hype boys. It was pretty fun. And yeah, I really wanted to own this watch actually. And yeah, I'll try to actually treat this as one of my other reviews. So really go into detail about the quality, design, etc. And keep away from the opinions. I feel like a lot of the YouTube videos that have been uploaded so far is a lot about opinions and what they think about it. There's a few good reviews. I'm gonna try to go even more in depth in my review here, but I will share my quick opinions on this. When I saw this, I really thought it was a great idea. Of course, it's a cash grab. This watch is probably not worth its price in terms of quality. There's plenty of other watches that you can say the same for. But I really like the idea. I really like the designs, the colors, and it might be a cash grab, but it's a really well thought out cash grab in my opinion. I mean, they've really respected Blancpain as a brand. They've shown interest, I think, and really kept the let's say the design, but also some of the historical elements alive. Yeah, and all just the way they created this lineup is pretty well thought out. So yeah, I really thought this was interesting, and I really wanted to own this version, which I'm going to review for you guys right now, and also perhaps talk a little bit about how it compares to the Moon Swatch, which I also own one of. And the short answer here, before I'll talk about the comparison when I talk in depth, but this is definitely a way better watch than the Moon Swatch in terms of quality. But the price is also higher, of course. So let's talk a little design here, because yes, I said I like the colorways, but what I really appreciate about this watch is, yeah, it's really true to the original one, the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, but those are usually very big. I think it's a 46 or 45 millimeters, and that is just way too big. And also the price is a little bit hefty, even though the quality, of course, is matching that price. I would never really buy the original one, but I think this is a really cool way of wearing something similar. And yeah, I prefer this version. The gray here on this watch is just so cool. I mean, I've never had a watch that plays so well with white and gray. The white is almost a little bit bluish. The gray also has some little blue inside. I think they nailed the nadir strap as well on this one with the kind of bluish gray and then this blue line in the middle. I think it's really cool. And also the other colorways are really cool, but I had to choose one, and I think this is my favorite one. I'd say the next one would be the coral. I really like that in terms of design. Basically, I like no dates. I really despise that date that's been shoehorned here between the markers. That is not pretty. So this is a much cleaner version. And yeah, just they really nailed the design here. I'm not really showing the case back here, but it's quite beautifully printed. It has a nice little cool detail. There's a slug on the invisible rotor, or the transparent rotor. And apparently those slugs represent the seas or oceans. Like they each live in the part that the watch represents. In this case, this is Arctic or Antarctic. So pretty interesting and well thought out design principle, you could say. So yeah, overall, I really enjoy this design. I think it's really cool. There's a slight fumé. I know it's not true fumé. It's kind of just painted this way, but there's a slight fumé detail on this one. It's very hard to notice, but it does get a little bit darker on the edges. I like the small markers. Yeah, everything just is really cool here. And also the old Blancpain. Let's see if we can see it. The old Blancpain logo, I think, is really cool. The other ones, I think, have the new one, the modern logo, or at least how it's written. So yeah, pretty cool. They've written Swatch here on the side of the case, which Blancpain also does on their watches, except they write Blancpain, of course. So yeah, pretty cool details, I would say. And overall, I think a better and more subtle design than some of the Moon Swatches. And again, you could say there's black Moon Swatches, yeah, but they're way too close to the Speedmaster. And I think this is way far off from what a real 50 Fathom would look like. And yet it is still original in its own right. So I think they nailed the design here. But yeah, let's talk about quality. As I mentioned, I feel like they're much better made. than the moon swatches here. But if we just start like a little bit methodically and go with the case and crown, it is bioceramic. So of course that is, I think it's 2/4 ceramic and 1/4 plastic. There's been a lot of debate on what that really means. To be honest, it feels good. It feels sturdy. I don't know if it's as scratch resistant as ceramic, probably not, but we could just say this is a tough and well-made plastic. But not only that, it's molded quite well here. As you can see, one of the signs of quality from watches is this thin line here, or the line between the case and the actual lugs, and it's quite crisp, which is something you see on expensive watches. Now, again, this is just a high quality mold, basically, but I really enjoy that. I've seen plastic being molded where you can see it's kind of rounded, and here it's quite a crisp line, so I'm quite happy with that. The crown as well, when you feel the threading here, it's sharp, but not too sharp. It doesn't feel like there's machining or anything. Like, it feels like it's a good grip. The crown as well feels pretty well here. The weird part, and hear me out here, is that this, you wind it the wrong way. So that's something I noticed pretty fun. This is to wind it, and normally you would wind it this way, but yeah, this way. You wind it the opposite way. So kind of a weird thing, probably because of the movement that's inside. So yeah, case and crown, pretty good feel. Also, when you actually want to adjust the time of this watch, there's no hacking, as you can see. And that kind of jumps the second hand. It's a little bit unnerving, I would say, when I see this thing jump, but on older watches or Psychos without hacking, I've seen this too, and it tends to not be a problem. And it snaps back quite roughly in again, so that has a pretty good feel to it. There's no wobble in the crown as well. As for the bezel, apparently the bezel here is actually mineral glass from recycled glass they found. I think it has a sapphire coating. The same goes for the crystal. So they're a little bit more scratch resistant than all mineral glass. And to be honest, this thing has a really good bezel action. It's, let's see here. First of all, there's no play. This is pretty solidly, yeah, there's no play on this. And then you just click it, you feel a nice solid click, which I'm really surprised. I was not expecting that. It actually feels good. No play. And also aligns well. Let's see here. Aligns pretty well, actually perfectly. Everything here is aligned, by the way, on the dial. So I'm pretty happy with the bezel action and how it looks and feels. The dial as well is pretty well made. The printing is okay. Everything is aligned. The hands are aligned. The hands are also, I think, metallic, but with this kind of a dark blue color, or at least coating on the metal, kind of matching this stripe here on the NATO. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty cool dial. Let's see if we can have a lume shot of this bad boy here. So overall, I think they're on the website, it says grade A or grade A1 or something Super-LumiNova. This is probably BGW9, and it's applied pretty well, at least on the hands. So if we look at the hands, it's pretty hard to see here, but so it lights up pretty well. But if I leave this out for an hour, the bezel is the first thing that stops being very luminous, and then the markers, and then the hands. So again, if you want to tell time, which is the main function, you will be able to for a long time. Those are the lume is quite well applied here. The rest, not so much, but I'm still positively surprised. I was not expecting this good of a lume, especially since the moon swatch, I can pretty much put that UV light on it for 10 minutes, and after 20 minutes, I will not even see it in the dark. Like, it's a really bad lume. So I'm quite happy that this has much better lume, especially since it's a dive watch. Yeah, let's see here, the case bag. I'm going to show you the case bag maybe later, but yeah, that's a weird thing that they came out with a watch that has such a cool and unique case back and then put it on a NATO strap. I find that quite weird. That's a weird design choice, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, as for the NATO strap, in terms of quality, it actually feels really good. It's nice and soft. You can see there's different threading here for the different lines here, so that's pretty cool. Again, this is bioceramic, these parts, and again, how sturdy they are, I really don't know. But this cool thing here is you can move this loop here. So because this is actually quite a long NATO strap, I'll show you on the wrist, but thank God that you can move this, because there's a lot of extra NATO strap that you want to tuck away, and this thing moves, so it really adapts well to whatever you need it for whatever wrist size supposedly here. And I'm also a big fan of, let's see if we can get there we go. It says 50 fathoms with a nice cool font here on the buckle. I like the design of the buckle. It feels pretty well, it feels pretty sturdy. I mean, this plastic is plastic, but it's quite a solid one. So let's not forget G-Shock is also made of cool resin and plastic, and yeah, they're pretty solid. So why shouldn't this be? Cool. All right, let's put this on the wrist, and let's see. Today I'm wearing my green Omega Seamaster, which is very cool. I just got this recently. I will be doing a review of this, by the way, so just subscribe or like if you want to see more of this. So before I put this on the wrist, let's just go through the specs really quickly. It's a 42.3 millimeter case. It's got 14.4 millimeter height, which is pretty high, and a lug-to-lug of 48. The movement inside is a System 51, which is 100% automatically built and regulated movement. So there's no human need or new human contact with that movement when it's built. I'm not sure about the case or assembly, but definitely the movement is 100% automated. And it's a pretty cool feat. And I kind of missed out when they came out with this in 2013, this movement, and I had to read up on it after getting this. And it's a cool movement. They've removed a lot of pieces. They placed 16 patents to make this. It's laser regulated in-house, so automatically laser regulated, so you can't open and regulate it like normal escapements or balance wheels, I suppose. So yeah, you can regulate this as a watchmaker, but it is regulated with a laser and very precisely, and this holds time pretty well. Some people say it's not serviceable. It is, but it's just not regulatable. But I would say if this drops, if the movement stops working, you'd probably just want to swap it out if Swatch can do that. If Swatch can't, is it worth servicing? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I had a fun story and a fun day getting this watch, but maybe in a year you can just pop into the store and get a new one if you really like it. So I don't really know if this movement is worth servicing or should be serviced. But if this thing lasts for 20 years, then I've had a good time and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, and also yeah, water resistance, of course. 91 meters, that's 50 fathoms, if anyone was in doubt. And yeah, as I said, BGW9 Lume, supposedly, even though it doesn't say on the website, that blue hue is pretty much, I'm almost certain that is what it is. So yeah, let's pop it on my wrists here. And my wrists measure approximately 7 centimeters in circumference. So let's see here. Now, I will just demonstrate getting through the first loop, the second loop here. And so normally with the nanos, you would do the little loop here. And there we go, as you can see. And then this thing, because there's a lot of extra here. And if you have a smaller wrist than mine, I think mine is about average, maybe a little bit above. If you have a smaller wrist than mine, you'll probably have even more of this. So this thing can go up and just catch that extra. Let's see, it's pretty hard to, my arm don't twist that way, but there we go. So see? So it actually looks really good on my 17 centimeter circumference wrists. And it goes super well with a gray t-shirt. I've gotten a lot of cool comments. People like this design. I think the others might be a little bit too colorful for me, especially since I do have a red moon swatch already. So I'm really liking to wear this. I think it's really cool and fun watch. Yeah, and I won't be selling it, even though I could make a little bit of money on it. I think I'll be keeping this one. Might even get the coral one if I can not stand in line for 3 hours in the heat. So yeah, I think this is definitely an upgrade. To summarize, a definite upgrade from Swatch compared to the Moon Swatch. You're also paying a little bit extra, of course. I think it's great. They kept to the traditions of the brand. No quartz watches. They kept a lot of historical details, design elements. They put it in a normal size instead of this 46 giant that Blancpain is making. You know, the usage of these little. They have a no rad on the cold version. This one has a little SCUBA thing. I actually forgot. Yeah, this little marker here is actually a humidity indicator. So if the watch, if humidity gets in here or water, it'll change color. And this actually works. I was told in store, this actually works. So that's a pretty cool feature that only this watch has. But yeah, just all these little design elements that are historically accurate, the cool size, the superior quality, in my opinion, makes this a more fun watch and a better watch than the Moon Swatch. Now, the question is it really worth the price? I don't think so. No, I really don't. But also here, let me see. I think this is not worth its price. A lot of it is hype. You're also paying for having those brands perhaps on the dial. But, you know, there's no micro brand that produces a cool chronograph with little rockets for sub registers. And I really like that. So I got it. And the same goes for this one. I have rarely seen a white diver that plays so well with gray and colors. And maybe I've seen a few like Hublots that kind of mimic this, but then we go up in price. So I think, no, it's not worth its price in terms of quality. But it's fun, and I would like to wear it, and it gives me a smile, and yeah, I think it's worth it in that case. So, you know, if you want it or have hesitated to buy one or get one, don't buy into the hype and pay 3 times the price. Just wait for it, and when it comes out or it's available in shop and there's no queue, just go down and get one. You won't regret it. I think they're really fun, and yeah. I hope this video helped you make a sound decision. And if not, you know, comment down below why you think my review or why you disagree with it. Subscribe and like. I will come up with more reviews. I hope you like this. It's unscripted. But yeah, have a great day.